I am Mary. I am 40 years old. I have two children. My husband John is 45 years old. We have been married for 18 years. When we got married, I was happy. John was kind. He smiled every day. He said, "I love you." I believed him. I wanted to build a good life with him. We had our first child after 2 years. It was a boy. His name is Adam. He is smart and funny. 2 years later, we had a girl. Her name is Lily. She is kind and loves to sing. At first, John was a good husband. He worked hard. He brought home money. I stayed home to care for the children. I cooked, cleaned, and helped them learn. But after some years, John changed. He worked late. He went on trips. He didn't tell me where he went. He stopped saying, "I love you." I asked him, "Why are you so busy?" He said, "I work for this family. Don't ask me questions." I was sad, but I stayed quiet. I loved him. I hoped he would change. One day, 7 years ago, John went on a trip. I found 2 plane tickets. I saw another woman's name. My heart broke. I cried for 3 days. I felt lost and alone. When John came back, I asked him, "Who is she?" He said, "She is nobody. Don't worry." I didn't believe him, but I said okay. I wanted to keep my family together. My son was only 3 years old. I didn't want to break his heart. Over the years, John stayed the same. He worked late. He went on trips. I knew he still saw the other woman. My heart grew cold. I felt empty. I cleaned the house, but it didn't feel like a home. I cooked meals, but I had no joy. I looked at John, but he was like a stranger. One day, I met someone from my past. His name was Alex. We were friends long ago. He was kind and gentle. I saw him with his wife. He opened the car door for her. He helped her with her coat. I thought, this is care. This is love. I never had this. Alex and I started to talk. He asked me, "How are you?" I said, "I am fine." But I was not fine. He listened to me. He said, "You are important, you are strong." I started to feel alive again. I smiled, I laughed. For 3 months we talked. We didn't need much. I didn't want gifts or big promises. I only wanted care. I wanted to feel loved. But John found out. He was angry. He shouted, "Why did you do this?" I said, "Because I need love." We had long talks. John cried. He said, "I love you. Please don't leave." I asked him, "Why now? Why after 18 years?" He said, "I didn't know you were hurting." One night, I got very sick. I went to the hospital. John stayed with me. He held my hand. He said, "Don't leave me. I love you." For the second time in 18 years, I heard those words. I love you. Now John is at home. He sleeps next to me. But I know the other woman is still waiting for him. I don't know what will happen. My heart is tired. I want to believe John, but it is hard. I try to smile for my children. I try to be strong. I know I am not perfect. I made mistakes. But I only wanted to feel loved. I don't know what the future holds. I only hope for peace. After everything that happened, I began to think deeply about my life. I spent many nights awake, staring at the ceiling. My mind was full of questions. Should I stay? Should I leave? What is best for my children? What is best for me? John tried to be better. He stayed home more often. He helped with small things, like taking out the trash or washing the dishes. He asked, "Do you need help?" These were small changes, but I noticed them. Still, my heart was not the same. I felt like I was living with a stranger. When I looked at John, I didn't see the man I married. I saw a man who broke my trust. One evening, I sat with my children, Adam and Lily. We were eating dinner. They were laughing and telling stories about school. I looked at them and thought, they are so happy. They don't know the pain in my heart. After dinner, I asked Adam, "Do you think Daddy and I are happy?" Adam looked surprised. He said, "I don't know, Mom. You are always kind to each other, but sometimes I feel like you are sad." Lily, who was younger, said, "Mom, I just want us to stay together. I don't want anything to change." Their words made me cry. I didn't want to hurt them, but I also knew I couldn't pretend forever. One day I decided to visit Alex. We hadn't talked since John found out about us. I needed to say goodbye. When I saw Alex, he smiled at me. He asked, "How are you?" I said, "I am trying to fix my life." Alex nodded. He said, "You are strong, Mary. I know you will find your way." I thanked him. I told him, "You gave me something I will never forget. You reminded me that I am important." Then I walked away. I knew it was the last time I would see him. I decided to talk to John. I said, "We need to be honest with each other. Do you want this marriage to work?" John looked at me. He said, "Yes, I want us to stay together. I made mistakes, but I love you." I asked him, "Can you leave the other woman? Can you give me the love and care I need?" He said, "I will try." I told him, "Trying is not enough. I need you to mean it." John started to spend more time with me. We went for walks together. We talked about small things, like the weather and the children. Slowly I began to see a little hope, but my heart was still unsure. Forgiving John was the hardest thing I ever did. I thought about all the pain he caused me. I remembered the nights I cried alone. I remembered the plane ticket with Lisa's name on it. But I also thought about my own mistakes. I thought about Alex and the time I spent with him. One day I looked in the mirror and said to myself, Mary, you are not perfect. You made mistakes too. If you want peace, you need to forgive. Now I take life one day at a time. John and I are still together, but things are not perfect. He says he loves me, but I still feel a little doubt. I focus on my children. I want them to grow up in a happy home. I try to smile for them, even when my heart feels heavy. I also focus on myself. I started reading books and going for walks alone. I learned to love myself again. One day I wrote a letter to myself. It said, Dear Mary, you are strong, you are kind, you are important. Life is hard, but you can handle it. Remember, love yourself first. Then you can love others. You deserve happiness. Don't forget that. I keep this letter in my drawer. When I feel sad, I read it. It reminds me that I am not alone. This journey taught me many things. I learned that love is not just words. Love is action. Love is care and respect. I also learned that people make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Most importantly, I learned that I am strong. I can survive pain, sadness, and loss. And I can still find happiness, one day at a time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.